I'm Randall Rydell Russell. Welcome to Triple R Cinema Talk. Look, I know what you're thinking. You see a bunch of these on YouTube all the time. People talking about their favorite movies, what they think is better, yada yada yada. I just want to talk about movies. Talk about the ones that I love, maybe ones that you love. Get my opinions out there so people know my love. Okay. Randall Rydell Russell. That's the name you see on the screenplays and the short films that I make. But call me Randy while we're on here. Alright. I'm an aspiring filmmaker. I've had a bunch of scripts and projects go in and out of studios in LA. Nothing happened. But you know what? I'm going to keep mashing. That's why I'm doing this show. So let's get it started. Each week, I'm going to bring up a throwback movie or a new movie that I think is awesome. What I'm going to do, we're going to talk about it, dissect it, maybe get a couple of views out there and show a clip from it. Alright, so let's get started. The movie I've chosen for today in the first episode of this show is The Lost Boys. This is also my favorite movie of all time. It's just a perfect vampire film, and it just spoke to the 80s in such a big way. The Lost Boys was directed by Joel Schumacher, 1987. It starred Jason Patric, the late Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Jamie Gertz, Kiefer Sutherland, Diane Wiest, Barnard Hughes, the late Edward Herrmann, and Alex Winter. The movie is about a divorced woman who moves to Santa Carla, which is actually Santa Cruz, to stay with her father in this beach kind of, hippie type town. Sam, who is about 14, 15, is kind of obsessed with comic books, music, fashion, that sort of thing. Michael, who's about 17, 18, he's into girls, cars, motorcycles, that whole thing. After going to the boardwalk, he meets a beautiful girl named Star, played by Jamie Gertz. Movie trivia for you guys. This is actually the second movie they did together as a couple. The first movie was Solar Babies, which came out in 1986. A sometimes almost forgotten film that I actually truly am a big fan of. So let's go back to it. So, after Michael kind of gets in with Star, she lures him into this motorcycle gang led by Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland is kind of like a mysterious, tough biker guy. Him and his friends, leather jackets, the punk hair, they just scream, I am an 80s child on motorcycles and the whole nine. They have a cave which is down under the beach. And in that cave is kind of where they live. There, they have Michael drink from this bottle. He thinks it's wine, kind of like an initiation thing for being brought down there. Star tries to warn him, tells him that it's blood. He doesn't believe it, he drinks it anyways. Weird things start happening. They hang from an Amtrak track while the train goes by, and they just kind of fall into the fog. And Michael just magically appears, in his home. And it's daytime, and that's kind of a crazy thing. Sam starts noticing weird things happening, especially when Michael tries to attack him when he's in the bath. Their dog protects him, and that's when Sam realizes that, his brother could be turned into a vampire. He knows this because at the beginning of the film, he met two brothers, Edgar and Alan, the Frog Brothers, played by Corey Feldman and Jameson Newlander. This was also the first of many movies that Corey Haim and Corey Feldman starred in together, mainly because their names are Corey and Corey, donning them the two Coreys. Get what I'm saying? So they claim to be vampire hunters and vampire experts. So he turns to them for help. So long story short, they plan to save Michael by finding the head vampire and go on this kind of all-out war with Kiefer Sutherland and his gang at the house after they kill Alex Winter, who is the smallest, not the smallest, but one of the members of Kiefer Sutherland's gang who ends up, getting killed by the Frog Brothers. What made this movie work is because Joel Schumacher, he had already done St. Elmo's Fire. He has a great way of depicting young cast and really directing them in such a way in his visual style. He's not on that level with Spielberg or anything like that, not talking down to the man, but he created something with Lost Boys that was just fast-paced, like very visual, and it just spoke to that era. And that's another reason why I think I love the film so much. The music, the special effects, the acting, that cast, Jason Patric, he shows up every so often, but when he does, he's amazing, and this is one of the movies I feel that he was amazing in. Kiefer Sutherland kind of just solidified himself as an asshole bad guy in this movie, but one of the best, freshest vampires, on screen. This is before all that Twilight bullshit. I I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the film. Everything about it just kind of makes you love vampires. And this came out around the same time as Fright Night, which came out in '85, and Near Dark, which came out in '87, a couple weeks after Lost Boys. And they're kind of all along the same type of thing, which is, interesting because the movie itself is so, it's a cult classic. People love it to this day. When people think about vampires, they reference Lost Boys. Always. There's no... If you talk about a vampire movie, Lost Boys is going to be brought up somehow, some way. The Forsaken screams Lost Boys. I mean, on the cover of The Forsaken, it says the sexiest vampire movie since The Lost Boys. That's what Lost Boys is. It's a play on Peter Pan. Like, be young forever. Do whatever you want. But there's a price to it. Corey Haim, really, he was coming off of Lucas and Silver Bullet and Firstborn. He really carried his role in Lost Boys. Like, you loved his character, so you wanted Sam to get through. Corey Feldman, what is there to say about Corey Feldman? He's an icon. He fought gremlins, he fought pirates. He did it all, because he's Corey Feldman. Him as Edgar and Jameson Newlander as Alan, you really bought them as those vampire hunter characters. And Jamie Gertz as Star, she's beautiful. She's still beautiful at her age now. Alex Winter, who went on to be Bill in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and also directs now. You got the late Barnard Hughes as Grandpa, kind of the pothead hippie grandpa who knew all along there was vampires everywhere. Edward Herman, kind of very cunning, a character who you would never believe that he was the head vampire. And if you're watching this and you've never seen Lost Boys, probably don't look at this, because this is kind of for people who've seen Lost Boys who can relate to what I'm saying. Get what I'm saying? Also, I really, I gotta give it to Diane Weiss too. She's an Oscar winner, but she still was able to do this vampire movie. Such a good vampire movie at that. It makes complete sense why this movie is still timeless to this day. And I probably watch it at least 3 times a year. I used to watch it a lot when I was a little kid on VHS. I've actually bought 3 VHS copies of it because I played the tape out too much. It was the first movie, too, that my mother showed me at a young age, a horror movie, because I'd always seen glimpses of it because my mom loves it. And I was always scared to watch it for some reason. And then one day she was watching it on, I believe, Cinemax when I was like 9. And I was kind of standing in the hallway, and she grabs me, she puts me in her lap. She said, "You're going to sit here and watch this. I'm tired of you standing back there scared, wanting to know what it is, but don't want to watch it." So I watched it. And you know what? That changed me. It made me a horror fan because I was scared of horror movies. Well, what kid isn't at age 9? But, as I grew older, I became a huge horror buff because of Lost Boys, of everything. Especially vampires, but more vampire hunters. I truly am a fan, and this movie right here it stands the test of time. It speaks to me still. I mean, even the poster. It's an iconic poster. You can't deny that it's not one of those ones like, hey, I want to see that. It spawned 2 direct-to-video sequels. The second one was god-awful. God-awful. The only thing good about it was Corey Feldman, honestly. Him playing Edgar again was great, and the little cameo with Corey Haim was awesome. And then Lost Boys, the Thirst, was a lot better. Was a lot better than the other one, and you have the Frog Brothers back in action, and lots of flashbacks, so it kind of ties into the first one a lot more. But this one, this is Lost Boys, and I know I might get in trouble, but I want to show a clip from Lost Boys which is my favorite clip from the movie, and you know, maybe people can relate to it as well.
I thought they were supposed to be in coffins. That's what this cave is. It's one giant coffin. Right now, they're at the most vulnerable. Easy pickings. Remember, you just have to kill a leader, huh? We don't know which one the leader is. I guess we'll just have to kill them all. We'll start with the little one. First come, first staked. What was that? A little vampire humor? Or was it funny? No, don't eat it! Good night, bloodsucker. No!
And there you have it. Need I say more? That's the scene that kind of like sold me on the rest of the movie, because I'd actually started watching it as a kid right after that part, right before that part. And it's funny, after that I started following pretty much all the people that were in it. So I watched all Corey Haim stuff. I had already seen a lot of Corey Feldman stuff. Jason Patric, Jamie Gertz, Barnard Hughes, Edward Herman, Alex Winter, Death Wish 3, you know. But yeah, I kind of just want to start this show off with, you know, with that, and just showing that, you know, I love film, and I want to thank these people that created this film. Jeffrey Bohm, rest in peace, who also wrote the script. He went on to do Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and The Dead Zone and things like that. Richard Donner originally was going to direct it, but ended up just being an executive producer because he started doing Lethal Weapon. I'm proud that that was the first movie I put on for this. So, on that note, we're gonna wrap things up. Probably start this next week. Probably pick another movie. Could either be a new movie or a throwback movie. I don't know yet. But I want to thank you for watching this. I'm Randall Rydell Russell. Call me Randy. See you next week.